Hi friends, I hope you're all doing great. So today I decided to do an exam on main.ribaways.eu. I have seen this in the past, and the past videos they have been quite useful for the users. So and there have been a lot of comments on that. So I'll continue to do an exam. Just if you go to this website and then on the proof examine, if you select Ribaways B, you can start the exam or you can select Vlaams, Walls and Brussels. So let me choose today Brussels and then I will do the exam and we will start the test. So this is going to check our understanding or prepare us for the driving theory exam in the Brussels area. Okay, without time. So I'm going to read the question. Let me start it. I'm going to, so we'll basically have 50 questions here. I'm going to read the question, read the options, and also explain the options for you, answers. And then at the end, hopefully we should pass the exam. If we don't, we will know what the issue was and we will understand, probably we'll learn something new today. All right. Okay, so let's get started. The first question. It says the car wants to turn right. As you can see, the indicator is towards the switched on to the right. So what are the options? So before even reading the options, I would say if the car wants to turn right in this case, it has to give priority to the bicycle, right? So because when you are turning right, you are making a maneuver. Okay. So the option is the car must give priority to the bicycle. The bicycle must give priority to the car. The answer is the car must give priority to the bicycle. Okay, let's continue. The second question, as you see here, it says the car before you, uh, the car before you has made a mistake and would like to change its lane towards Boom and Wilrake. Is he allowed here to change the lane? Absolutely not, because this is a continuous white line, and at a continuous white line, it is prohibited to change the lane. Just think of a continuous white line as a wall that you're not allowed to cross. So he's committing a offense here by crossing. So the options are yes. Option B is yes if he has set his indicator. All this is not correct. So the correct thing is he is not allowed to change the lane. Okay. So let's go to question number 3. The question is, which of these answers is correct? Okay, the option 1 is during an accident or during a car breakdown, you must call the police. The second option is the warning triangle should be placed at least 30 meters outside the built-up area. So this distance must be 30 meters outside the built-up area. The 4 indicators must be switched on when there is an car breakdown. So I think it's mostly this, because outside built up area it's more than 30 meters, but we will come to know about the answer. So within built up area it should be 30 meters. Okay, so let's continue. So the correct answer should be, when there is a car breakdown, you switch on your 4 indicators. Okay, it's a warning thing to indicate to the other traffic that they need to adapt their speed. Okay, so let's continue. What does this traffic board mean? Okay, so clearly it's a dead end road, or the road where the traffic can enter, but there is a dead end, right? So it doesn't, the options are it's a bicycle street, no. It's a dead end street. Exception is for bicycles and pedestrians. That's correct. So as you can see, after the dead end, the bicycles can still continue and the pedestrians can still continue. For them, the road is not dead end. For the other traffic, it is. Okay. The third option is dead end for bicycles and pedestrians. That's not correct. So it's a dead end road, but exception is for bicycles and pedestrians. Let's continue. What should you have mandatory in your car? Okay, there are three options here. What is mandatory in the car is an EHBO kit and the first aid kit, the cable to pull the cars in case of breakdown that's not needed, and a jack. Autocric is a jack that's also not needed. Okay, so a first aid kit is mandatory in the car. So here's the priority question. Now this is easy. The red goes last because it has shark teeth. Uh, uh, because it has shark teeth, so red we put in the last, and then and then the first goes green. The white goes next because white is turning left. Okay, so the green goes first, and so it's already in the right order. So let's go with that. Okay, the question is at level crossing with at a level crossing with gates. The question is very simple. At a level crossing with gates where there is moonlight lit, okay, are you allowed to ride? Yes. So it means that the level, there are no trains coming. It's safe to continue driving. So that's yes. So outside built-up area in Flanders, and you are riding at 60 kilometers per hour. Okay. Can you continue to ride at this speed? Of course, yes. So the question, let's repeat that. You are outside the built-up area in Flanders and you are riding at 60 kilometers per hour. Yes, you can continue riding. Outside built-up area in Flanders, you can ride to a maximum speed of 70 kilometers per hour. There is no minimum speed. So 60 kilometers per hour is still allowed. Okay, so let's continue. So what does the orange boards or the orange markings or, on the top of the lane indicate? It indicates a bus lane or a breakdown lane, or you have to clear the lane. So it indicates that you have to clear the lane, and maybe further ahead these lanes are closed. Okay. Okay, there are these dynamic traffic boards. It says when you cross these traffic boards, which of this is correct? So without even reading options, when you cross this dynamic traffic boards or traffic signs, your maximum speed should be 70 kilometers per hour. So this one we select, which gives your maximum speed must be 70 kilometers per hour. It's the other options are your minimum speed. No, this is not correct. So the B option is you're advised to ride at 70 kilometers per hour. No, that's also not correct. Okay, so the maximum speed should be 70 kilometers per hour. So here the question is, do the drivers coming from right have a priority? So the question has three options here. The first, let me read the first and the third option, which are wrong. So it says yes, the drivers coming from the right have priority because the markings on the road indicate that you must stop and give priority. These are not markings for priority. These are markings which indicate that it's a road hump. Okay, so where the speed should be 30 kilometers per hour. The last option is no, the markings on the road let you know that you have priority on this junction. No, again, it's not the priority markings. These are markings indicating the road hump. So the option B is correct. This is a cross point with priority from right. Okay, so if there are no boards, then you must follow the rules which indicate the priority from right. All right, so let's continue. So the question is this jacket, is this flu vest, mandatory in the car? Yes, a flu vest is also mandatory in the car for the driver. Okay, so let's say yes. What will you do when there is a heavy rain which is falling or coming? So the option is you switch on the dim lights. Option B is you will turn the radio to a louder volume to avoid listening to the rain, which is ridiculous option. But these are definitely kind of options that you might see in the exam, distracting. You will write as you would write in a dry weather. So you will switch on your dim lights when there is a heavy rainfall. Okay, so that's the correct answer. So who is not allowed to come in a play street? A bewohner is a resident, a bicyclist, and a moped, a class A moped. Class A moped are not allowed. Bicycles and residents, they are definitely allowed in a play street. Pedestrians are always allowed. Okay, so a bewohner is a resident, so a resident can actually drive his vehicle inside if he has to park. Okay, if there is a blue, if there is a blue dust, sorry, smoke. If there is blue smoke which is coming out, what does it indicate? It indicates there is water in the engine, but that's not true. It indicates that there is coal which is being burned, and it indicates that oil is being burned. So this is the correct option. That if there is blue smoke that's coming out of the exhaust, then there it could be a reason that their oil is being burned. So let's move to question 16. So where will you put your left foot after you have changed gears? Okay, so which position will you put your left foot after you have changed the gears? So it indicates this is the accelerator, here's the brake, here's the clutch, but you should never put your foot on the clutch after you have changed the gears. It should always be next to the clutch, not like this, but next to the clutch. So this is how the position should be. Okay. Question 17. This street is an it indicates, so without even reading the options, you can say that it's a dead end street. So looped door, it's a dead end street. It's not a one directional, it's not a street with one directional traffic. It's not end of residential area, but it's a dead end street. Okay, let's continue. Are you allowed to ride on this island? So this is an island. It is very much prohibited to use this island. Okay, just think of this as a place where it's an elevated island and your car cannot ride on this. All right, so it's prohibited. The reason why they have this kind of islands is to direct traffic in certain direction. Okay, so the simple answer is no, never. There are other two options. Yes, but only during overtaking. And second option is yes, during heavy traffic. No, it's never allowed to drive on this island. Okay, let's continue. During overtaking, the options are three options. Option A is you are allowed to use the left indicator. Okay, you are allowed. Okay, option B is you must switch on the left indicator when you are, the left indicator should keep running when you are doing the overtaking. Option C is you must switch on the left indicator the moment you have moved to the left lane. So this is correct. This is the correct way of overtaking. But if you want to understand more about all these rules, how to do overtaking, which indicator to use, you can refer to my book, Driving Theory. So if I quickly go to amazon.nl and search for my name, Anjum Pasha, there you will go, and then you should be be able to just find my book. Okay, I just searched for my name and then I found my book. So here you can actually buy this book. It's on a discounted price, as you can see, 31 euros now. So otherwise it's 43 euros. So you can make use of this option. All these rules I have explained it very well in the book about some of the things like how do you overtake and things like this. So let's continue. By the way, you can also practice on our website. It's called drivingtheory.be. If you're interested, you can practice these questions in English. I have prepared. So it also has a 15 days of free plan access. So just go to this website and sign up. So I made another video where you can see how you can sign up. And once you sign up, you have to put in your details and you don't have to put any payment there. Just put in your name, address, and things like that, which is required to sign up for the account. Maybe not even address. And once you have done that, you can then go to premium theory test, and then you will be able to launch all these exams in English. So we have a database of 700 questions. So you can practice 700 questions, up to 700 questions on our website. Okay. All right. So let's continue. The question 20. So who is a bevoegde person? A bevoegde person is who's an authority. Okay, which of these is an authority? So it's definitely a policeman who's an authority, and the others are not definitely. This is the person who is helping to cross. So this is the crossing guard, and this person is also the crossing guard. So they don't have authority, but only where they where they are only allowed to stop the traffic using the C3 sign where people or children can cross the road, okay, or a procession can cross the road, okay. The bevoegde person is the police who has more priority. I mean, who has the highest priority, let's say. Let's put it like that, okay. So you can learn about priority also in our book. So let's move on. Question 21. So what negative influence has the traffic on the environment? Of course, it has a lot of negative influence. There is no negative influence. That's wrong. There is noise pollution and increased ozone concentration, increased ozone concentration, and the acidic rain. Okay, so these are the things which are negative. From how many meters? From how many meters should the load which extends behind have a signal? Okay, the beyond 1 meter, you must put on the signal, or sorry, you must put on the sign, not the signal. There's a board that you must hang on the load when the load exceeds 1 meter at the rear. Okay, so let's continue. So the question is again about the priority, about which goes the directions of the police. Let's the police or the priority person. Okay, about the traffic lights. So you must listen to the police. Even when there are traffic lights, you must ignore about the traffic boards. So everything, the police has the highest priority or the authorized person has the highest priority. So you must always listen to the authorized person. Even if there is a red traffic light and the authorized person indicates you to continue driving, you must continue driving and just ignore the traffic lights there. Okay. So let's move on. Question 24. Are you allowed to stop behind this white car? Mag je vlak achter die witte auto aansluiten? Are you allowed to stop behind this white car? There are three options. Yes, but you must at least leave 1 meter distance. You must leave 2 meters distance. You must leave 3 meters distance. When there is parking, you must leave 1 meter distance. So I'll go with that. But maybe it's a wrong choice. Maybe the rule says that you must leave 2 meters or 3 meters distance. But we will look at the end if the answer is incorrect. Okay, so let's move on. Again, the priority. So in every case, the tram always goes first, huh? And the gray car here goes last because it's turning left, so it must give. So the first is tram, next is white car, and last is gray car because gray car is turning left. So when it's turning left, it's a maneuver. When a car does a maneuver, it must give priority. Okay, so these are already arranged in the way it should be. So let's click confirm the answer. Are you allowed in summer to ride with winter tires? I think it's allowed. It's allowed, but if there is an accident, you might have a problem. So, okay, in Germany, I know it's mandatory to have the tires, but I'll just go with yes, and let's see at the end if our answer is wrong. Okay. So the question is, you're riding in the blue car and you want to turn towards left. What must you do? You must stop. Why? Because you're facing the policeman who has spread his one or two arms, indicating that the traffic in front of the policeman and behind the policeman must stop. Okay, so the blue car and the yellow car both have to stop in this case. Okay, I've explained that in my theory book as well. You can refer to that. You must stop. The vehicle will the vehicle in front of you wants to turn left. Are you allowed to overtake this vehicle from your right? So here, I don't think so, because when you try to overtake from the right, you will enter the bicycle lane, which is prohibited. Okay, so the first option is yes, the second option is yes. If the car's indicators are switched on, I don't think so. No, you should not try to overtake, because otherwise you will be entering the bicycle lane, which is an offense, right? So let's continue. At the cross point, okay, what should you do? A simple, you must stop and give priority, okay? Stop and give priority. And the second option is give priority and if needed, stop. No, always when you see the stop board, the first thing you have to do is stop. The rest is second, okay? There's traffic, there's no traffic, whatever the condition is, you must do a full stop even in your exam. Okay, so let's move on. The bus is exiting the bus stop outside the built-up area. Who has priority? Of course, outside the built-up area, the bus does not have a priority. Outside the built-up area, only inside the built-up area, the bus has priority. So in this case, it will be you who will have the priority, or the traffic on the road which has priority. Okay, so let's continue. So the question is, the GPS indicates that you must turn left. How will you turn left? See, this is a very important question, critical question. As you can see, it's a bus lane with continuous white line. It's not a broken strip, it's a continuous strip, where there is a continuous strip. And also, usually when the bus is written horizontally, that's usually a reserved lane for the bus. Okay, in that case, you must never drive on the bus lane. Like, option B is not the correct way. You must never drive on the bus lane. You're just allowed to turn left. So usually in this case, there will be checkered markers here on the road, which you can use it as a bridge to turn left. Okay, this is not allowed, but option A is the correct one. Okay, also the board here indicates that the middle lane is a reserved lane. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, the question is when must you switch on the fog lamps? When? Moge, not must. Moge is when are you allowed? When may you or when are you allowed to switch on the front fog lamps? So the front fog lamps are not mandatory. Okay, only the rear fog lamps are mandatory in Belgium. Okay, so when are you allowed to switch on the front fog lamps? So option C is always outside the built-up area. No, this is not correct. Option B is always between the evening and the day. This is also not correct. Whenever there is a mist and the visibility is less than or is reduced to 100 meters. So this is the case when you can switch on the front fog lamps. Let's continue. The question is, these vehicles are parked correctly. So if you look at the parking board, it indicates that both the both the wheels must be on the verge, elevated verge, and exactly they are parked on an elevated verge. So yes, these vehicles have been parked correctly. Okay, and the parking starts from here, so there is no prohibition. So they are parked correctly. You park the vehicle between the traffic board and the black car on Saturday at 11 o'clock and 2 minutes. So as you can see, this is a parking area or the place where you can park the car, but it's a blue zone where you must use the blue card, right? The time card. So when you have arrived at 11 o'clock and 2 minutes, then you must go to the next half. You know, so if you look closely on this card, you will see that there are markings for every half an hour. It's not for every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 minute. No, the marking is for every half an hour. So if you have crossed 11 o'clock, so you will set it on the next marking, which will be 11:30. If you have arrived exactly at 11:30, set it on 11:30. And if you have arrived at let's say 11:31, 11:32, so you go to the next marking, which is 12 o'clock in this case. Okay. So you will put it on 11:30. All right, let's go. Let's keep going. Question 35. This traffic board, what does it mean? It just means that priority from right. Okay, there's so just even before reading the options, you should know that it's priority from right. So yes, this is what the option should be, a cross point with priority from right. So the other options are overweight, a level crossing with gates, a level crossing without gates. That's not correct. Okay, it's a priority from right. Let's move on. So who must give priority? Of course, the red must give priority. There are no traffic boards here, so you must follow the traffic rules, which is priority from right. So the gray car goes first. And who must give priority? It's the red car which must give priority. So questions like this, you must be a little careful. Like in this case, it's easy to get confused and say, okay, the gray car has priority. But the question is not who has priority, but the question is who must give priority. Okay, so it's the red car. So the question here is you are riding with your air conditioning switched on. So what does it do? Of course, it affects the uh, so yeah, the fuel consumption definitely increases. So that's the option. Brandstofverbruik is fuel consumption. Stegen is increases. So that's what it does. The other options is it is affecting your battery. It is reducing your braking distance. And the correct answer is your fuel consumption increases. Okay. Are you allowed to overtake this truck here? Never, because you can see that there are yellow traffic lines, you know, the continuous yellow line. So whenever these are temporary lines and the yellow or the orange markings. These are temporary markings. So whenever you see these yellow or orange markings, you must always follow them. You should then ignore the white markings on the road. So now just ignore, just forget about the white markings, think that they don't exist. The only marking that you must follow is the yellow, and because it is continuous, you must continue driving on this lane. Overtaking here is prohibited. Okay, so no, you're not allowed to overtake the truck here. What's the maximum speed you're allowed to ride in in a play street? I think it's you must ride with the speed of step foots, not even 20, not even 30. It's step foots. Okay, very slow, because there are children playing. It could be very dangerous if you ride at 10, 20 or 30. Okay. So the question is, you will want to go towards Harelbeek. Where must you ride? So if we look here, just ignore the boats for now. For now, Harelbeek is exiting here to the right. At this point, if you at this point if you look at the board here, it is exiting to the right, the Harelbeek. So it says you must continue riding here. You must move to the correct lane. You have to move 2 lanes to the right. So as you can see, Harelbeek is extremely to the right and it's an exit. So you should move the 2 lanes to the right. Okay, that's very simple answer. The car begins to slip. So what do you do when the car begins to slip? You must try to control the car and slowly, not put on your brakes suddenly, then your car is going to slip more. So Ekrem onmiddellijk, it says I will apply brakes immediately. No, you don't do that. I will stop applying brakes immediately. So yes, you need to control your car, and definitely you will not apply the brakes. Okay, if it is wrong, we will figure out at the end, but let's continue with this. Okay, are you allowed to switch on your dim lights in this condition? Yes, dim lights are okay. When the visibility is less, it can be switched on. All right. You are traveling on a long journey. You go to the tire pressures. What will you do with the tire pressures? You will reduce, you will keep it as is, you will increase the tire pressure. I think it's you will keep it as is. There is definitely not reduce, but it could be one of these, but I will just go with you keep it as is. Okay, so let's continue. In Flanders, okay, the speed on the motorway is wherever, it doesn't matter if it's Flanders or Brussels, sorry, Flanders or Wallonia. On the motorway, the speed is 120 kilometers per hour. There's another option, depends on the traffic boards. So I would go depends on the traffic boards, because it usually somewhere on the motorway. I think I'll go with 120 kilometers per hour. Only in conditions. So where you must follow the traffic board. There is never a traffic board on a motorway which says 70 kilometers per hour unless there is a traffic jam. So it's a very tricky question. So I don't know. So I will go with 120 kilometers per hour. So let's continue. What does ABA avoid? Okay, ABA voorkomt het blokkeren van de wielen. ABS takes care that your wheels don't get blocked. What does this mean? So there is less chance of what? Of course, less chance of slipping. Okay. For the other aquaplaning, the damage of the tires, club band. I'll have to check what this club band is, but ABS is mainly to reduce the slipping of the car. Okay. So let's continue. So who's allowed to ride first here? Okay, the green car or the gray car. So here they are doing a lane reduction. This is a lane reduction. At the lane reduction, it's not zipping. So is in this case, it's the green car that is allowed to ride. But there is a traffic jam, and during a traffic jam, I think you must follow zipping. So I'll go with the black car. Let's see how it goes. Okay. During a traffic jam, there you must follow zipping. Okay. It is freezing, and there are three options. You must reduce the tire pressure. You must adapt your speed. You don't have to do anything different. You must adapt the speed, okay, to the condition. This is always the condition. For, during raining, during accidents, you always adapt your speed to the conditions, okay? So let's continue. And here is a video, and the question is, the level crossing is closed, okay? Are you allowed to ride? So there is a traffic buildup. Are you allowed to ride in front of the traffic buildup to turn at the cross point? Okay, so the level crossing is closed and there is traffic buildup. Are you still allowed to ride to turn at the cross point? So let's look at this video, and here it is. You're going straight. Let me pause here. So this board indicates that there is a level crossing with gates. As you can see here, this is level crossing with gates. Let's continue. Anything special? So this is a bus stop, and you can definitely ride on this bus stop. You're allowed to ride on this bus stop. Now, the traffic is built up. The gates are closed. So it says the gates are closed. In this case, definitely now this becomes an obstacle for you, right? So yes, so you just go here carefully, and then you are making a left turn or right turn. Let's see. Yes, definitely this is perfectly allowed. Okay, there's no question about that. Okay, so yes. So what you did is allowed. So let's continue with that. Okay, are you allowed to ride at a level crossing where there are no unbewagt is no one is monitoring it, so there are no traffic lights, there are no gates? Are you allowed? Yes, you're still allowed. Okay, but there are different rules that you must follow. Okay, so the last question, which rule you must consider when you are leaving your vehicle? Okay, so which rule must you always consider when you are leaving the vehicle, when you're parking the vehicle and leaving the vehicle? Windows and doors closed, remove the battery, take the car documents. The windows and the doors must be closed. That's always, a really important condition that you must always follow. So when I click confirm my answer, we'll be able to see if we have passed or failed the exam. And if we have failed the exam, or if we have any wrong answers, we will see those wrong answers and we will discuss those wrong answers. Okay. Okay, so it says, uh, yeah, this photo is usually that you have passed the exam. If I scroll up a little bit or scroll down, where do I see the score? Yes, so here's the score at the top. So it says we have scored 47 out of 50. So we still have 3 wrong answers. So let's scroll down. I will click this, look at the wrong answer. So we did this exam for the Brussels area. So here it says, so which answer is correct? Yes, you must, the correct answer is you place the warning triangle at least 30 meters outside built-up area, at least 30 meters. Okay, that's probably something that we missed. Here is the explanation. Okay, the explanation says that on a regular road, you place the warning triangle at least 30 meters. And on a motorway, you place it at least 100 meters. Okay, so on a motorway, the vehicles which are at least at a distance of 50 meters will be able to see your the warning triangle. And when there is an accident or when there is a breakdown, you are allowed to use the indicators, but it's not mandatory. So the option was mandatory and we didn't pay attention to that. See, things like this will affect your scores, so you must always pay attention if it is a must or if it is optional. Okay, so let's go to the next mistake. Okay, it says when you are on when you are going on a long race, you just have your tire pressure a little higher. Okay, the next question. Yes, we had seriously doubt about this. So the correct answer is it depends on the boards. Okay, so even on a motorway, when let's say when there is a condition, there is traffic built up, they might put up 70 kilometers per hour or 50, then you just follow the board. All right, so that was the exam and we have passed the exam. And for those people who are doing the exam, I wish you all good luck. And if you have any questions, doubts, you can definitely, put your comments in the comments below. And if you have still doubts, you can go to our website and you can request a class. So there is a one-to-one session. You can actually, before your exam, if you have some doubts, you need some clarification, just book a one-to-one session. So you have options here that you can select, and we will see each other again in the next video. Thank you and enjoy your day. Bye-bye.